What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. Now, I know it's not live, but I am excited to be back again tonight because it's been a while since we've done one of these deep dive scouting videos, and I'm super excited tonight to bring you one. It's been a while since we've had to do one of these, right? We haven't signed anybody since the summer, obviously, yet. But a lot of the players that we signed in the summer were pretty well known. I think we did one in the summer on Johan Bakayoko. I think we did a lot on coaching staff additions. We talked a lot about Sam Arith, Christopher Vavell, Rude, all these guys, Rene Haka, all these guys we talked about before. And you guys really seem to like those. And I have a lot of good fun times doing those videos as well. So today, though, I thought it best to do another deep dive video on a player that United's been heavily linked with this week. We've talked a lot about this guy over the last couple of days, especially. He's a young player who I think a lot of fans might not be familiar with, but one that I've been watching for almost 2 years now. He plays for Bayern Munich. He wants out of Bayern Munich, and United are reportedly leading the race for him. I am, of course, today talking about Mathys Tel. So, today we're going to take a look at his career so far. Short as it may be, he is still just 19 years old. I'm going to look at his profile, like what kind of player is he, what does he offer, where does he play on the pitch, why he's leaving Bayern Munich, after signing a new contract just a year ago, and why so many clubs are interested in right now. As much as 7 clubs are vying for his signature. So like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and be sure to get involved in the comments after the fact. Let me know what you thought after the video, because we are going to dive right in and get started. So, born in France, so he's a French attacker, Mathys Tel got his start in the youth ranks of Paris FC, not PSG, Paris FC. There are two. Before joining Stade Reims in 2020, when he was still a teenager. He was still just 16 when he joined Reims. Interestingly enough, little tidbit, he actually started his career as a young player as a center back. It's kind of like you see with Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong started as a center back as well, moved into central midfield. It happens all the time. So, Paul Scholes started as a striker, became a central midfielder. It is what it is. Tel made his professional debut, though, in August 2021 after joining Reims when he was just 16 years old. He broke that record for Reims, previously held by a certain Eduardo Camavinga, if you guys might be familiar with him. And it only took a season of football in the French league for Bayern Munich to take notice, to see potential, to see what he offered, and make a move for him. They brought him to Bayern in the 2022 summer transfer window. They paid 28 million euros for him. I think it's like 20 million pounds to bring him in on a 4-year contract. That's how highly they rated him at the time. And it didn't take long for him to start playing, didn't take long for him to start breaking records at Bayern Munich after joining the club. In August 2022, just a month after joining Bayern, Tel scored in the DFB Pokal match to make him the youngest competitive goal scorer for Bayern in all of the competitive competitions, right? And then, not one to just be happy with one record. He became the club's youngest Bundesliga goal scorer just a month after that as well. Are you guys convinced yet? If you're not, I'm going to keep going. So he's at 19. Tel is already 6 foot. He's built. He's athletic. You could tell he spends time in the gym. You can tell he's a physical specimen. But he's got pace. He's got agility. He's got strength. And even with the size, even with the strength, he's got an agility that sees him able to make turns, switch direction, cause defenders to kind of lose track of him on a dime. He can do this on a dime without notice. He's got energy to burn, and he's got a willingness that physicality helps him put in a shift off the ball as well. Tel has pretty much all the components you want in a young player, all these raw components that with coaching and development and time and managing his minutes, you could really make him a class player. He's also extremely versatile. He's able to play pretty much anywhere across the front line. He can play on the right wing. He can play as a false nine. He can play as a striker. He plays a lot on the left wing, though, and I think that is his best position. Most of his time spent has been on the left wing. His heat map for the last few seasons shows that's where he sees most of the ball. So this is his heat map from last season, this current season, 24-25. You can see a lot of it is spent on the left-hand side. He's able to get the ball wide. He's able to cut inside as well. And then this is the season prior. Again, same thing. He spent a little more time on the right wing last year, but this season, last season, again, more on the left, cutting inside onto his right foot, and then on the right-hand side as well. And you can see this is where he plays. And I think this is perfect for us because at United, I think he'd be really, really good in one of those number 10 roles, personally. I think that he's got kind of like Garnacho, kind of like Ahmad, who start off as wide players. I think he has everything in him to be able to play in those tight areas. Because I do think he's better in those channels, in those tight spaces, physically able to withstand a press a little better than someone like a Rashford or an Antony, for instance. I think that because he's also got that physicality and that energy that we've been lacking in that area of the pitch, I think that's also something that's going to help us out a lot. All that allows him to receive the ball, but then he can turn inward to make something happen or dribble inside or pick out a cross, or he can keep the ball wide, take it high up the pitch and carry it. And his physical profile allows him to do that. He can beat a defender with pace. He can beat them with a bit of trickery as well. So that's the profile that he is right now. This is what I think he would be at United. Let's look at some numbers to see how Tel is going to compare to other wingers in his category here. So you guys know I like some percentile ranks, and these come from FBref. If you guys ever want to know where I get the percentile ranks, that's where it comes from, FBref. They don't keep close tabs on all of the leagues because that's just the way it is. And they're not going to get a whole lot of numbers, if any, for youngsters or players who play in the academies. That's just not a thing. But as you can see, the guy has got a lot of green, and green is good. Any sort of grayish green to bright green number means you're above average, and above average is good. Even if it's in the 50 to 60 percentile, that's still above average, and that's still very good. If you look at any sort of population distribution bell curve, for instance, you can look up bell curves if you want. Anything to the right and middle, any standard deviations to the right of the middle, in this case 50 to 60 percentile, very, very good. And as you can see, Tel has that. His pass completion, top 6%, very, very good. Successful take-ons, top 14%. Touches in the attacking area, top 18%. Progressive passes received. That means how high up is he on the pitch when he's receiving those passes. He's getting into those advanced positions again. And look at those aerial numbers, top 15%. Very good for a winger. Now, I didn't show the percentiles physically, but I have them written down because you can actually expand this and to make it a little more detailed. You can look at the nature of the passes, short, medium, long, crosses, and all this stuff. He's actually, when it comes to take-ons, he's actually in the top 5% for take-ons that lead to a goal. So when he's beating a man and he's carrying it forward, 95, he's in the top 5% of wingers for making that resulting in a goal. As far as crosses go, he's got a very good cross on a very good right foot. He's in the top 9% for accurate crosses. We can finally get some good delivery into the box. Passing range, you can see there, pass completion is top 6%. Awesome. Look a little closer. It's not just in general like long, medium, short passes, all within the top 10% for Mathys Tel. He is very good at moving the ball, whether he's finding a teammate, whether he's carrying it himself. The guy moves the ball, which is what we have been lacking. We need players who are going to take a man on, carry the ball. Far too often, we look a little hesitant, we look a little shy. Off the ball, like I said, Tel gets stuck in. Top 10% for tackles in the final third. Again, high press, high energy off the ball, willing to put in a shift. We know that Ruben Amorim likes that from those positions because he praised Mason Mount for that as well. Top 3% when it comes to losing those challenges. So when he's making a challenge, he's not losing it far often. Top 10% for carrying distance. When he's getting the ball, he's carrying it a good distance, and that has to do with a lot of those take-ons. 71st percentile for carries into the penalty area. So he's in the top 29%, getting the ball into the penalty area. He completes more than 50% of his take-ons. Now, I know you're like, 50%, come on. 50%, again, is top 1% for completing those successful take-ons, like top 1%. That is elite level percentage of take-ons. Now, he averages 2.57, which if you look at the average, that's in the top 14%, like you can see there. But what that also means, he's in the top 1% as well for the percentage of take-ons. And that's what you're getting from him. He's just good on the ball. He puts in a shift off the ball. And this is what you're doing. He featured in 41 matches in all competitions for Bayern Munich last season. He scored 10 goals, provided 6 assists, and he had 2 goals and an assist in the Champions League alone as well. Very, very good for a young teenager. Now, I know what you're going to ask. Sean, if he's this good, why are Bayern letting him go? Bayern don't want to let him go. Bayern signed him to a new contract not even a year ago for another 4 years. They don't want to lose him. The problem is with Bayern is that they made a managerial switch. And Vincent Kompany, I'm never going to not be able to laugh. Vincent Kompany hasn't given him the minutes that he was previously assured when he signed that contract. This is what's going to happen with new managers. It happens all the time. We saw it with James Garner when he was on loan, for instance. He was getting all sorts of minutes. I think it was at Watford. They changed their manager. He barely got a sniff. It is what it is. You know how it is with new managers. They want their own players. They want to build their own team, no matter who is already at the club. It's one of the most dangerous times for players when you get a new manager. Just like it's the most dangerous time for a manager when you get a new owner. Sorry, Ten Hag. Furthermore, it's not a good look when you sign a new contract and then the following summer that club signs someone like Michael Olise to come in and play for you. It is what it is. Bayern are going all out to try to hold on to Musiala. Tel represents a fair bit of money if they can get him off the books as well. It makes sense. He wants minutes. That's why he's leaving. And he's turning 20 in just a few months. He needs those minutes at this point in his career if he's going to make a strong push for international level, if he's going to start, showing people what he can do. Max Eberl, Bayern sporting director, sort of admitted, again, they don't want to lose him, but now that he's made it clear that he wants to leave, the club is going to make sure that they get a deal that suits them as well as suits Tel. Eberl said, he has incredibly great potential, but in the end, you have to look at what is best for everyone involved. There's no bad blood. I can understand him. I've rarely had so many clubs call me about a player before. Again, so many clubs are looking at this kid. And that says a lot. I mean, Spurs chairman Daniel Levy flew all the way to Munich in an effort to get a deal over the line, only to come back empty-handed because Tel just flat out rejected Spurs. A deal between Spurs and Bayern was actually agreed too, but Tel did not want. Again, it doesn't matter how much money you offer. It doesn't matter if the clubs agree. The players got to want to move. Word is Mathys Tel wants Manchester United, or he's going to wait until the summer. Even if that means a loan to United, he wants to come play for United. Sounds like we're exploring a loan deal, especially with Rashford technically still on the books, though by the time you guys watch this, that he could be an Aston Villa player, Marcus Rashford. So we don't know where it is. That's all but wrapped up. But who knows? We needed to raise some money. We do have a hole in the squad with Antony and Rashford not in there. We do need some more help in that department. And we do need energy. We do need a willingness to take people on. We do need ability to create chances, and Tel offers that. Now, I'm waxing lyrical about a 19-year-old, which is odd, contextually speaking, right? Because I've said not only do we need to give our young players patience and time because they are going to be inconsistent, but I've also said we need a little bit more experience in the squad as well. We can't just pull like an Arsenal 4 years ago and just buy a bunch of young players and then use that as an excuse. I know that's what I've said. Tel is raw. When you're going to need to be patient with him like we are with any other young player. But I do honestly, it is in my opinion, and I honestly think that he is one of the best young attackers out there right now. One of the highest ceilings I've seen in a long time, up there with your Bino Gittins and Cole Palmer's even. I still defend my view that his ceiling is higher than Alejandro Garnacho's, and that's not a diss. I'm not trying to start a Garnacho versus Mathys Tel feud like people were doing with Pogba and Bruno. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply looking at it from what I see from the two players. And I do think Tel has the higher ceiling. I think he's that good. But that's just my opinion, though. Hopefully, after you've listened to a bit of what I've had to say tonight, again, I'm not here to change anyone's mind. I'm here to provide context because there are, quite frankly, a lot of people who might not know much about Mathys Tel. I take, with the fact that what I've seen for the last couple of years, how highly he's rated by other clubs who are looking at him. And then if you listen to just Bayern fans, I've seen many Bayern fans online saying he's a fan favorite. We don't want to lose him. It's going to be a sad day if we lose him. They like their young player. They think he's got potential. They're not happy with the way things are in terms of his situation. They don't want Bayern to sell him, and that's coming from Bayern fans. But I think that after listening to a bit of what I've had to say, if you're not familiar with him, or maybe you didn't have a fully fleshed out opinion, maybe this added a little bit more. Maybe this helped you kind of see a little bit more about what he is, his number, his profile, where he'd best fit in at United, I think. And maybe, you've learned a little bit more about this exciting young talent that we're reportedly trying to bring to Manchester United. Let me know in the comments, though, what you think, whether or not you're excited about United potentially signing Mathys Tel. Do you want a loan? Do you want a fee? If you want a fee, how much would you be willing to pay for this player? I've seen his market value is like £30 million. I've seen a price tag floating around in the media. It's the media of like 50 to 60. I don't think it's going to come anywhere near that. It doesn't help that it helps us that he said he wants to leave, similar to the Marcus Rashford situation. But do you think it's a good move? Should we prioritize another position? How much would you pay? Again, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. All of that. And like the video, please subscribe. If you are new, we are on the road to 3K. And I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Until then, I will see you guys following the Crystal Palace match. But hope you enjoyed this little video, a little closer look at Mathys Tel, what we could be bringing to United, how he fits in, and why I'm excited, and maybe why you should be excited. Until next time, thanks for checking out the video. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new. I'll talk to you later. Peace.